Greetings everyone. Let's see if we get that decent, better lighting in here. I don't want it. Like it seems like gotta get this lighting right. Gotta get enough light in here. All right, greetings everyone. Welcome to Dorsey's Resource. The title of this video, really quick, is going to be good cabal versus the bad cabal. Prosperity pack programs and Q&A. So title of this video, good cabal versus bad cabal. I was going to give my thoughts, but first, before we get started, I want to give a disclaimer. This video is going to be for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Please keep in mind everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person to please do his or her homework and research into this matter being discussed. This information is not to be construed as legal advice. In any event, you need to seek a competent professional. It is encouraged that you do so at one's own leisure. Dorsey's Resource channel is not liable or responsible for any misuse of this information. These are simply my opinions on the topic. With that being said, all rights are reserved. Now, welcome to Dorsey's Resource. I want to thank you guys for joining me. In case you want to follow me, you haven't, you follow me on Twitter at Dorsey's Resource, on Facebook at Dorsey's Resource, and of course on YouTube at Dorsey's Resource. Without further ado, this topic of this video is going to be my thoughts, also Q&A. Big shout out to you, Camilla Barnes. I saw you. Good evening to you as well. Greetings. Thank you for all those out there that follow me, who continue to follow me. I'm not sure about some things going into the future because of some information that I got transpiring coming down the pipeline. This may be one of my last videos in relation to the prosperity programs, or the where I've talked about the dinar. Anybody has questions, but I stopped talking about it a while ago. You know, I still have my old videos that are up there when I gave my opinion. And the reason I expressed myself, I wanted people to see the real side of me. You know, for those of my older videos, some of my videos prior, I had to remove. I won't go into all the details about that, but some of you guys already know what that situation was about. But a lot of them were already starting to go viral. A lot of them already did go viral at the time, in comparison to the numbers at that time. So without further ado, once again, my thoughts, allegedly, this is based around, for those out there who know this is real or believe. I'm not trying to force anyone to believe, in case you're not aware, the global currency reset, because there's still those out there that don't believe that it's real. They don't think that it's true. That's fine. You know, everybody's entitled to their own belief, but this is for those who are interested, who inbox me with questions and things. I believe that, in my opinion, the GCR is real, and the word that I got, there's some things coming down the pipeline real soon. That's all I'm gonna kind of leave it at for the time being. But I want to give my opinion about the prosperity programs and the connection to this thing. I may touch on the humanitarian projects, but originally the way this was designed was, I recommend watching the movie on YouTube called Changes on the Horizon. In case you're not aware of that movie, please check that out. And if you have questions about the dinar, the global currency reset, the prosperity programs, it will help connect the dots, help provide insight as to what's going on. A lot of people think they're aware, they're partially aware in some instances of our banking system, and people might be awake to the truth, but I think there's greater degrees of being awake to the truth, or how awake you are, like different levels. For example, like in you know, different sports, you have certain athletes. They may be top athletes in one particular category, but there might be other areas they have to work on. I feel it's the same way when people wake up to the truth the first time. People might be awake in regards to religion. They might be more awake to the truth than that. People might know more information about the banking system. I think you should be try to be as diverse as possible. Big shout out to you, Lord Scientist. Salute to you as well. Appreciate you for joining. Welcome once again. Thank you for joining. And this is also Q&A for those of you all who have questions out there. You know, I'm going to kind of give my opinion I don't know how long this is going to be. I am at the slavery plantation, as I call it. But I know it had been a few days since I'd done a video, and I wanted to try to keep up more so than I was doing in the past, to try to let you guys be abreast of what's going on, since I do have a small following on there. I do have like just less than 6,000 subscribers. So like, once again, appreciate you if you still follow me. But my thoughts on the reset, I do believe personally that it's real. I went over that movie. Please check out Changes on the Horizon. Check out Money Masters, Monopoly Men. There's another documentary I went over in my previous video as well. Hold on. Okay, I thought that was a radio check. I'm still at the plantation, so I have to listen out for that. But my thoughts were in regards. Turn this down. Turn that down somewhat. Okay, my thoughts are so far is that things are transpiring. I told some people that had questions about the dinar. Just in my opinion, hang in there. Scientist said, "What's the latest? Isn't the RV happening now?" Yes, it is. From what the word I've gotten, I had got previously, it's actually, I heard, already RV'd overseas. And there's a whole plan. If you've been following the conference calls, I recommend to my listeners too. I'm just like you guys in a sense. I did have sources, but like I said, there's different levels to this. Maybe not as high up as some people, but I was told information privately. I have one contact who stated that there was some years back, there was this pastor that he knew. Don't quote me on it. Believe this was in relation to this guy he knew. It was through another source. I think I might have met the guy before at a coin show. I'm not sure exactly, but just giving you guys enough to protect their identity and who they are, but give you guys credible information at the same time. He stated to me that this pastor individual saw us show up one night real late, because I heard that there were high net worth people who were made exchanges privately that were like in a special echelon category. Because when I read documents years ago dealing with this, they stated that the dinar was going to have a tier system. Like there was going to be 4 or 5 tiers. I couldn't remember exactly. So of course there were different governments. They were going to go first, like in tier 1, tier 3. I mean, tier 1 and 2. Then you had high net worth people, and then tier 3 comprised of some high net worth people like at a different level or lower level than them, and then it kind of trickles down to like the rest of everybody else. Yeah, thank you, scientists. Yeah, I thought it was 5 tiers. I wasn't quite sure exactly, but once again, this was something that was kept very private, and that's why I recommended watching those documentaries to help provide more insight, in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to really rant. I am grateful that things are happening, but I'm going to say this. There was different programs that people were part of dealing with the prosperity packages, and a lot of people don't know they were supposed to pay out a long time ago. They were supposed to pay out before the dinar, actually. And the concept was that a lot of people don't understand that are newbies or found out about this years later. Those who believe this is not for those naysayers or people that don't believe. This is for people who are in the know, who know that this is real and whatnot. And there is evidence, and I shared with a friend of mine recently. I said, if you've been paying attention, if you had your eyeglasses on, I told him that I had a receipt from a particular bank dealing with a particular foreign currency. I won't say the name. I may have mentioned it in a video I did a long time ago, but we were passing this particular bank when I was with my friend, and I told him, and he was stunned. I said, yeah, I got the receipts proven. I also got receipts for brick and mortar locations that deal with you know what I'm not going to mention. And I said, I even told a relative some years back that I said, if this was a scam or if this was fake, those places would have been shut down a long time ago. Now, not saying you do have scams or con artists out there. For example, it could be like anything in life. Anything, for example, you have people that do things. I've heard the Native Americans and veterans supposedly got paid so far. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have any confirmed sources dealing with that. That gets a little bit more private. And then you also had the something separate dealing with the CMKX lawsuit, the farmer settlements, because this stuff goes way back. Some of it is in the documentary Changes on the Horizon. So, you know, big shout out to you scientists for sharing that information, because there are newbies that may not be aware of that as well. And while I'm trying to flow along, I will try to answer questions in the chat simultaneously. And at the same time, I'm trying to stick to the topic exactly. So just keep that in mind. If I kind of shift around a little bit, may lose my train of thought, but it's to also try to give you guys input to show, you know, I am paying attention when I see you guys questions or comments pop up on the screen right now while I'm doing this live feed. So dealing with the prosperity packages, they were supposed to pay out, but the concept was that there was a conference call some years back. Elder that I know told me to listen to. It used to be on a website called Midnight Think Tank, and I don't even know if that site is still around. Many sites got shut down, or their domain names just simply expired. I don't know all the stories behind what happened to them, but there used to be a conference call called Thing 1 and Thing 2, and he told me listen to that a long time ago when I first found out about this. When another elder had shared this with me privately, and they both knew each other. They were two separate people, but one of them said listen to this conference call, and I did. As I started to connect the pieces together, but I still didn't fully understand until years later when I attended this private event, which a friend of mine stated was a private clandestine operation. And I was going to kind of go over some things with that, dealing with what we found out years later, why some of in the redemption education movement, why some of the discharges did not work, and things of that nature, because certain things I'm going to say deals with status and status correction. I'm not going to go into all the details behind the scenes, because I think some of it is definitely too sensitive for those out there who hadn't been following this, because I have done my due diligence throughout the years, and this is not coming from somebody who wants something for free, that's just trying to freeload. I've done my due diligence, but I felt like, in my opinion, some of the people that we were learning under, that we were under their tutelage, I felt as though they were playing favoritism with certain people, which I discovered they can automate, they can put people on autopilot, like really help assist people, and that's fine. There's no jealousy type of thing, but I just felt for people who paid money to the seminars and were expecting and signed up for something that they thought that they were going to get, and were kind of put on hold and delayed, was very, very dirty in my opinion. For them to expect them to hold on this long, to continue, is like being abused, because of these individuals were not above the law, or they did not have diplomatic immunity or whatever. If this was on the public side, they would have been in jail by now. There's no doubt. This is another thing that gave me validity that it was real, because I didn't believe that when people were saying that this particular individual, just using this as an example, had went to jail or whatever, I didn't believe that was true. However, I did feel, and I had some sources, I had to ask a lot of questions, that he may have had some handlers. And that was allegedly admitted when this individual had resurfaced. But if they knew that in order to access these funds or this wealth, that we were going to need these entities to be set up, I felt that why would they wait to the last minute to try to get people prepared? Because the concept, if the prosperity programs and packages had paid out when they were supposed to happen, this is, I don't want to sound like a rant, but the concept was individuals who were aware of this were going to use those funds to purchase classes properly, to get the proper education, the proper tutelage, so it wouldn't be a stampede running at the last minute trying to get things squared away. If you can feel where I'm coming from, if you've been in my shoes and you are part of this and you know about the private sector, but you're still public, you still got certain contracts lingering, and you're trying to get out the matrix. you know, you got to feel me where I'm coming from. This is why I'm kind of raising my voice a little bit and showing you guys, yes, if you, it might not hit you at first, but I'm kind of speaking cryptically to those who might be aware. When you start to realize what's going on, if you wear the shoes that I'm wearing, put yourself in my shoes, and you're aware of this, and you're still trying to transition because these certain individuals knew that we needed this money or funds, currency, to dismantle some of these contracts. Because in a way, I'm not going to go into all the details, I'm kind of speaking in code, but those of us are kind of blackmailed in a way. It's difficult when you're on these 9-to-5 jobs to try to transition out, and you still have to depend on, and you're not sure exactly when you were relying on their tutelage, the proper education, and then the evil cabal. That's why I put good cabal versus, I know it sounds like an oxymoron contradiction, but this is what someone was explaining to me, that the evil cabal puts all these obstacles and roadblocks in the way because they have their minions, gatekeepers, and underlinks, etc., and deep state operatives cock blocking, if you know what I mean, stopping people from filing paperwork, and they're blatantly breaking the law. And I was going to do a video too showing the law that this individual was trying to sign his name a particular way. It says this right in the law. It's in Michigan. It's a actual Michigan compiled law. It's MCL 440.1308, and they changed it years ago from 1-207. It says, our blessing is coming in God's time, people. If you are people of God, I'll be with this investment. Okay, I didn't see, kind of fades. I try to read the comment as much as I can. Well, thank you for that comment that just chimed in. Says, check your message, gotta go. Mizan is sleepy. Okay, appreciate you, scientists. If you are people, be with us, investment since 10,000. Okay, thank you, Daniel Mendoza. I'm not sure it was a lot. Thank you, Camilla Barnes says, I got your back. Trying to answer several messages at the end. I appreciate you, the feedback. But that's kind of to kind of give better insight in analyzing what's going on for those who may not be aware, why you have people who are frustrated, who really did their due diligence and sincerely wanted to help people out. And there were some people that were fortunate, were blessed that they knew individuals who were able to hold them by their hand and walk them through and make this easy, less complicated. And I did hear about those secret groups on Skype too, by the way, from, well, I'm not going to say, but somebody that I know told me some years back that there was communication going on through Skype. So I do know there was people being held by their hand. And I know they can make this easier. They can could have put people on autopilot, especially those of us, including myself. And I'm speaking on behalf of others because this is not just about me, but on behalf of other people who express concern that, you know, that this is why they were frustrated. You know, Money Boy in the building. Thank you, Money Boy. Appreciate you coming in. Money Boy in the building, fam. I gotta give Money Boy a shout. They used to give me a big shout when I was on the Discord app, by the way. You know, so thank you to my people out there for continuing to follow Dorsey's Resource once again. Big shout out to you. But as I'm saying, going over the prosperity programs, the concept was we were going to use those funds to purchase the classes and things to get the proper education, and we would have been, many of us, we would have been prepared already, or more prepared than, instead of you having this big stampede that's like trying to get in the door at the last minute when the door is slowly closing up. You know, I'm wondering if we gonna even have enough time, hopefully. You know, they telling us this stuff at the last minute, something's big is getting ready to occur. Are we gonna even have enough time? I pray, you know, that, you know, they were saying at God's speed, but if you really were concerned about God's speed, then some of us would have been, that paid the money, paid our dues already, would have been assisted as properly as we should have been. You know, I'm just saying, you know, but hey, you know, you're a peon, you're a commoner to these people. They're like, who cares? To them, we're just their pets. This is what one friend of mine who studies the Illuminati eschatology was telling me, you know, like with these individuals who messed up, I was asking somebody, like these individuals who had access to the black card and, you know, messed that up for everybody else, because my friend was saying that they cut everybody else off, but why didn't they, I said, just punish those individuals who messed that up when that was supposed to be something that was supposed to pacify us in the meantime? So they understood that the prosperity programs were supposed to be utilized to help us out. So they changed the plans, and that's why I've been, you know, kind of pissed off or upset a lot of these years or whatever. Hold on, I'll be back real quick. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. So, you know, I just feel like, you know, I've been on this 9-to-5 job, you know, I remember going through the paperwork with the DTC, that stands for Depository Trust Corporation, but when the individual also disappeared for a number of years, that threw people off as well, that it's like you didn't have the motivation anymore, because unless you know somebody who knows, like we were under their guidance specifically, and certain people we can learn the information better from. That like one individual he's using is like this older guy or whatever. He was speaking at a previous event, but he's like, he sounds there's no offense to him, but it's like he sounds irritating because he talks like he goes above people's heads, and he doesn't really break things down the way that we need it from the individual who was supposed to be our leader or came out as a representative on behalf, you know, when we were following under their specific tutelage. So hopefully this will clarify questions people have asked me in some of the videos that I removed dealing with the black card out of respect. And I'm not saying the individual's name, but I'm just going through a breakdown. This was real for those who are aware of the private sector. And I'm not talking about, there's a difference between just the public and private sector. There's something else called the free private sector, or private free sector. And I'll give you a hint. Look up the difference between rich people who are public and people who are wealthy. There's a difference, and there's different levels to this. I'm not going into the details, but that's just all I'll just leave it at. It's enough for those out there who are smart enough, who know who I'm communicating with, that can interpret, who follow my information specifically, and thank you to those who do. So I'm just saying, to add more clarification, that's what the prosperity programs were supposed to help offset, that some of the things that we were going through financially, so we could slowly dismantle those contracts and transition properly into the private. Because when you're still public, you know, there's difficulty if you don't have all of the pieces together, because you still have to depend on the currency, and then plus you have these gatekeepers that are breaking the law by these deep state operatives. They're minions and underlings or whatnot that insist on, like, I was going to finish telling the story, I almost forgot, with that Michigan Cabal law. Had someone recently was trying to sign their name, all rights, you know, on their driver's license, and I actually had spoke to a branch manager over a particular Secretary of State, because in different states it might be called your DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles. It's governed under, generally under your state's state department for your local state. But like, you have a main one in Washington DC, but you have one locally in different states. And I'm gonna tell you, they're blatantly violating the Constitution. Even on the public side, there's supposed to be rules and guidelines. This is what made it a lot more difficult. And this is just blatantly evil. This is wicked. This is malicious. This is malevolent, what they're doing. And especially some of these other gatekeepers out there on YouTube that are trying to say that this information isn't real. That's why I said, guys, please thumbs up my videos to let the haters out there know that you agree with what I'm saying. If you want to see good quality content or whatever, even if you may not agree with everything I'm saying, but overall, but you appreciate the information that I'm providing. Because these gatekeepers, some of them were even, it was mentioned some years ago by some independent media, they were even hired because they want to keep people brainwashed. Like, when they can keep you brainwashed and controlled, they don't want you to think outside the box. Like, these people that work these campaigns and stuff, they're making money off you. They want to keep you, while they always say register, you need to vote, and they don't go into all the details of the true history what deals with voting. You already have the right to vote. Actually, registration is actually a contract. They're putting you in a public sector contract on the public side. By the way, let's be clear on that. This is a fact. Statutorily, legally, this is a fact. You know, so let's be clear. But there's certain individual gatekeepers out there, they won't go, they only tell you part of the story, even on mainstream propagandist media, because they don't want you to know the full truth. Like I noticed with CNN and NBC, I said it's not that they don't report on the truth sometimes when they are reporting on things, but they're not telling you everything, or they're not breaking it down fully. They're leaving certain things out. You know, just something to think about there. You know, so I'm just trying to break things down to the purest form so you guys in a way understand. In a way, I'm speaking in code sometimes, but when I'm making points, I try to break things down. That's why you'll hear me reiterate. I'll say things, repeat myself to drive the point home too, so you guys get what I'm saying. So the prosperity programs, to clarify, before I shut the video down, thank you guys for joining me once again. Dorsey's Resource, it was supposed to be used to help assist us, and it would have been a smooth transition. It wouldn't have been like where all of a sudden it's about to happen and this big stampede is coming down the pipeline, whatever it is that they're planning. See, I'm not, you know, that high up, but you know, to a certain degree, I can read between the lines. Allegedly, when this individual had resurfaced, and I do appreciate, I heard, I missed the other call because I had to go in to work or whatever, so there was a recording that someone sent to me, by the way, and I heard someone extended their hand of assistance, and I do appreciate that. And like I said, this might be one of my last videos dealing with this topic. And I haven't decided, because I might not be able to down the line. I'm going to have to focus getting back studying because of what they've done all these years. You know, when they just disappeared on us, I lost the motivation. You know, I didn't know where to start from. And once again, it's not that I'm one of those people that wanted something for free. I paid money at those seminars. I did study different information. I studied different gurus in the redemption education because there's different subjects, different topics. Then, mind you, those of us that are still partially on the public side that haven't dismantled some of these contracts that are still attached to the N lingus or whatever, it's been troubling. It's been difficult for those of us, if you understand, if you're in our shoes. But had we accessed the currency, which we were supposed to, which was originally put in place, then I think it would have been a smoother transition, and you wouldn't have had, some of us or people wouldn't have been upset. I think this should be clarified, because nobody's going to really talk about this or break this down because this is so private. You know, so I'm just one of the few out there that is helping, trying to interpret some of what's going on and what has happened behind the scenes, by the way. Now, I also want to say, I don't do private consultations. I have had people reach out to me, and I've talked to people as a courtesy, but understand too, I do work a night shift, and I did appreciate networking with different people when I was invited to the Discord app, but I had to cut off like a certain amount, because I already have an immediate circle of people that I know locally here in Michigan. And, you know, I'm not in a position yet. Like I said, I'm not going to teach something or attempt to teach something or be looked upon as the guru until I fully understand and have the proper tutelage, or I'm aware of what I'm doing. By the way, I'll share, you know, information that I've had thus far, being at the level that I'm at. But because there's this thing out there where some people were, I guess, looking up to me, asking me for the like private advice, or it turns indirectly into answering questions, or saying I got to tell you about something. But just if I have reached out to you, just expect that as a courtesy, because at the same time, if I do go private, and if I had access to this money already, especially a long time ago, to be honest with you, it's not that I'm selling out, but I wouldn't have never started a YouTube channel. I just wanted to live my life, and I feel like I could have been married by now. Matter of fact, I know I would have been married. I would have been in a relationship. I was actually, some years ago, I had to put this to the side. I was studying dating psychology books. One of my best friends and his cousin used to, some years back, I'm just sharing this personally, used to joke with me, tease me, like, I was reading all these different books and stuff, whatever. But they were self-help books, but they actually also teach men to become better people, to become grounded, to become how to be a true alpha male, but to be grounded, to be disciplined in other areas, just like many other subjects. It's a way of life, like martial arts. So I was studying self-helps. I was bettering myself, but I had to put that on hold because there's only so much information that you can focus on in different disciplines that you do in so much amount of time, especially when there's a lot of obstacles that are put in your way. And some of my people out there, friends, have families, so they weren't able to help like they used to. Some of my friends moved away. And then, life hits you, you grow up, you move on. But at the same time, I was blessed, fortunate enough to learn about this information. And when I woke up after around 2004, when I went to my first meeting dealing with the redemption education, I woke up to religion. When I was going over earlier in the video that I think there's different levels of being awake to the truth, that some people might just be awoke in one area or two areas. I had woken up with dating psychology because I had been sheltered growing up. I was a mama's boy, church boy, went away to college. I had to play major catch up. I'm gonna just sum it up. My parents, one parent in particular, was very overprotective of me. I'm not gonna put that parent out there like that. Some people said, well, that's a good thing that that did happen to me. I say it's pros and cons to it. But I had a friend of mine and that stated some things, so I had to like play catch up. So that's why I studied these self-help books, to give you guys an idea. So I was actively doing things to better myself, researching, just to give you guys an idea before I got involved in this information. So it's not that I'm lazy or I'm looking for something for free, because this is what certain people say, but I did my due diligence, and that's why I know a certain amount of information, but I'm at a certain level. There's individuals that are past me. There's individuals who are blessed to know individuals who they may not have been as advanced as I was, but they had privilege by knowing somebody who walked them through and establishing connections when they went to the event because of their privilege or whatnot. And I won't go into the details, and that's fine. I'm not saying this out of jealousy, just to give you guys an idea of what's going on, to get more specific and intricate detail there. So I just wanted you guys to know. And the cabal, there appears to be, you have the title of this video is the good cabal versus the bad cabal. So I felt the good cabal, they should have allowed the prosperity programs, also known as prosperity packages, to do what it was supposed to do. And I think, in my opinion, you wouldn't have this big, large stampede at the end all of a sudden, where it's like, oh, we want to help out now, and we were told to be quiet, and you should be grateful. It's not that I'm ungrateful. I'm just saying, I think things would have flowed smoothly, and you wouldn't have had, as many people who were upset. Because if this was on the public sector side, and these individuals weren't above the law, certain individuals would be in jail by now. It wouldn't have gone on, and people wouldn't have stayed this long. Especially, you're talking about people who are conditioned to be on the public sector that haven't fully transitioned into the private free sector. I'm just saying. So thank you guys for joining me. Those of you all who weren't able to interpret what I was saying, if you do continue to follow me, I appreciate you. You can subscribe on Facebook at Dorsey's Resource, on Twitter at Dorsey's Resource, all together as one word, Dorsey's Resource, and of course on YouTube, Dorsey's Resource. Until next time, thank you guys for joining me, and I'm your host, John Dorsey. Until next time, take care.